In this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 best Melbourne suburbs where you can still buy quality investment properties under $750,000, and I'll show you the exact data that proves why these suburbs are positioned for strong growth in 2026 and beyond. Hi, I'm Rasti, and my team has analyzed over 7,800 data points across Melbourne's growth corridors. We have helped clients secure properties in these exact suburbs, and I'll show you why our research suggests Melbourne is a top value play right now. I'll also reveal the 4 best regions and break down each of the 7 suburbs with key stats like prices, yields, and what's driving future growth. But let me start with a question. Where do you go when you want the best value for money? Most smart investors look for quality assets that are temporarily undervalued. And right now, that's exactly what Melbourne represents. Melbourne has been the forgotten capital for the past few years. Since March 2020, it's been the weakest performing major city. House prices fell 2.7% in 2024. Units dropped by 1.6%. Brisbane has overtaken Melbourne's median price, and Adelaide and Perth, they're closing in fast. The result is that Melbourne homes are now 41% cheaper than Sydney. That's about a $600,000 gap, which is the largest price differential we have seen in 20 years. But when you look beyond the headlines, the fundamentals tell a completely different story. Melbourne just overtook Sydney as Australia's largest city in 2023. It has sustained population growth, a diversified economy spanning health, education, logistics, and advanced manufacturing. There's over $120 billion in infrastructure investment currently underway. And here's the early signal that things are changing. Rents are surging. About 86% of Melbourne suburbs recorded over 5% rent growth last year. In property markets, rental growth typically leads price growth by 6 to 12 months. Now, if you understand market cycles, you'll recognize this pattern. Melbourne historically follows Sydney's growth patterns with a 2 to 4 years lag. We saw it after the 2003 Sydney boom, again in 2010, and most recently post-2017. Sydney moves first in both prices and infrastructure development, and Melbourne follows. And right now, the timing indicators are aligning. Independent forecasts are predicting that Melbourne will lead national growth in 2026. KPMG projects 6.6% growth for houses and 7.1% for units. On the current median, that's potentially $65,000 added to house prices. So the opportunity is clear. Buy quality assets in a fundamentally strong market while prices are still affordable before the next growth cycle begins. With that being said, not all areas will grow at the same pace. Even in a boom, there are cycles within cycles, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. So after analyzing hundreds of suburbs and over 7,800 data points, we have identified 4 local government areas that offer the best combination of affordability, fundamentals, and growth potential. I'll start with KC. KC is one of Victoria's largest growth LGAs with strong family household formation projected through the 2030s and 2040s. It is directly linked to the Dandenong South Employment Hub and benefits from major rail capacity upgrades in the Cranbourne line. The key catalyst here is infrastructure. Rail duplication, level crossing removals, and the Hall Road upgrade are enhancing connectivity, while the area maintains median prices under $700,000. Next is Frankston. Frankston serves the entire Mornington Peninsula catchment with a mix of families and downsizers. The major downcard is the health and education anchors like Frankston Hospital Redevelopment and Monash Peninsula Campus. The express rail to the CBD via the Frankston line plus the arterial access through Peninsula Link and East Link makes this one of Melbourne's most connected outer regions. Then we have City of Hume. Hume represents rapid population growth across the Craigieburn, Mickleham, Kalkallo corridor. The unique advantage is the airport logistics manufacturing spine, including Melbourne Airport Precinct and Somerton intermodal facilities. The Northern Growth Frameworks and emerging Cloverton Major Activity Centre also position Hume as a northern service hub with genuine job creation. Last up, we have Whittlesea. Whittlesea is Melbourne's fastest growing northern municipality with a population forecast to reach 360,700 by 2041. The area also has a unique health, education and manufacturing nexus featuring Northern Hospital, Northern Private Hospital, La Trobe University's City of the Future, RMIT Bandura and the Melbourne Market in Epping. This creates genuine employment diversity and tenant demand. These four regions share common characteristics: strong population growth, major infrastructure investment, employment diversity, and most importantly for investors, tight rental markets with vacancy rates typically below 2%. Now, let's dive into each suburb. I'll keep it simple and show you what the numbers mean and why it matters for you. Let's start with Hampton Park, which I think represents the sweet spot in KC. You are looking at a median price of $675,000, which puts you right in that affordable range while still getting access to all the infrastructure benefits I mentioned. The rental yield here is 4%. Now, that might not sound exciting, but in today's interest rate environment and a rising rent market, that narrows the holding cost. Cash flow pressure eases over time if you buy well. Here's where the data gets interesting. The vacancy rate is sitting at 1.14%. Now, anything under 2% is considered a tight rental market. But 1.14% means tenants are competing for properties, not the other way around. That translates to minimal vacancy periods and strong rental growth potential. The auction clearance rate is 100%. That tells you there's genuine buyer demand. Properties are selling at or above reserve, which indicates the market is functioning well. And with only 33 days on market, sellers aren't having to wait around. What really caught my attention is the stock on market figure, just 0.99%. That means less than 1% of all properties in the area are currently for sale. When supply is that tight, it creates upward pressure on prices. The location fundamentals are solid too. You're within the Cranbourne line catchment, so you benefit from that $2 billion rail duplication project. Plus, you've got the access to the Dandenong South Employment Hub, which means consistent tenant demand from working families. Moving to Cranbourne, which is second on our list, you're paying slightly more at just over $682,000. But you are getting more infrastructure exposure. The yield drops to 3.89%, but that's still reasonable for the location benefits you are getting. What I like about Cranbourne is the auction clearance rate of 87.5%. Still strong, just not as heated as Hampton Park, but sometimes that can work in your favor as a buyer. The vacancy rate is 1.39%, which is still tight, and properties are taking an average of 38 days to sell. The big difference here is the scale. Cranbourne isn't just getting rail upgrades. You've got Cassie Hospital expansion, arterial road improvements, and some much larger catchment area. That means more diverse tenant demand and better long-term growth prospects. If you're finding this useful, the companion playbook puts these medians, yields, and vacancy onto one page per suburb. I have left a link in the description box. Next up, we have Carrum Downs. Carrum Downs pushes the top of our price range at $723,000. But the metrics justify the premium. You're getting a 4.08% yield, which is exceptional for the price point. What really stands out is how quickly properties are selling. Just 25 days on market with 100% auction clearance rate. The vacancy rate is 0.8%. and the stock on market is only 0.33%. These are premium market conditions. The tenant profile here is also interesting. It's predominantly tradies and working families who value the road connections. You've got Peninsula Link, East Link, and Nepean Highway all providing access routes. That flexibility is valuable to tenants, which translates to rental stability for you. Meadow Heights in Hume makes number 4 on the list. Meadow Heights gives you the lowest entry point at $619,000 with the highest yield at 4.21%. Now I know what you're thinking. Why is it cheaper? The main reason is flight path exposure from Melbourne Airport. But here's the thing. If you buy outside the worst affected areas, you're getting incredible value. The auction clearance rate is 88.2%, the vacancy rate is 1.2%, and there's only 0.39% stock on market. The location advantage is proximity to Melbourne Airport and the Somerton Intermodal Precinct. And these aren't just transport hubs, they're also major employment centers. Logistics, freight, aviation services, these are stable, well-paying industries that create consistent tenant demand. Taking the number 5 spot is Craigieburn. Craigieburn at just under $663,000 gives you the best of both worlds. Rail connectivity to the CBD and access to airport employment. The yield is 4.18% with 90.2% auction clearance rate. The vacancy rate is slightly higher at 1.91%. But that's still well within the tight market range. What I like about Craigieburn is the diversity. You've got families using the rail line for CBD jobs, others working the airport corridor, and the emerging Cloverton development will add even more employment options. Next, we have Epping. Epping represents what I call the knowledge economy play. At just over $682,000 with a 4.01% yield, you are investing in Melbourne's northern education and health hub. The vacancy rate is 1.15% with 90% auction clearance rate. What sets Epping apart is the tenant quality. You've got healthcare workers from Northern Hospital, university staff from La Trobe and RMIT, plus the Melbourne market employment base. The new Epping development is creating what they are calling a health and knowledge city. When you get that concentration of high-skilled employment, it creates a premium rental market with stable, long-term tenants. Munda rounds out our list. Munda sits right at the edge of Melbourne's northern growth corridor and offers a mix of affordability and strong lifestyle fundamentals. The median price is just over $713,000 with 3.92% yield, which keeps it within that sweet spot for balanced growth and cash flow. The vacancy rate sits at 1.73%, which tells you there's still tight rental demand and stock on market is under 1%. The auction clearance rate of 89.1% shows there's genuine buyer depth here. What I like about Munda is that it's now fully connected. Thanks to the Munda rail extension, you've got direct access to the CBD and further upgrades like the Bridge End Road duplication and Plenty Road widening are improving connectivity even more. It's also part of the city of Whittlesea, so it shares the same employment and education anchors that drive demand in nearby Epping, including La Trobe University, Northern Hospital, and the Melbourne Market Precinct. Add in new town centre developments and consistent population growth, and you've got a suburb with both immediate rental appeal and long-term capital growth drivers. Each of these suburbs offers something different, but they all share the same characteristics: tight rental markets, strong buyer demand, and genuine infrastructure catalysts driving future growth. But remember, successful property investment isn't just about finding the right suburb. It's about finding the right property in the right street at the right price. The data I've shared gives you the framework, but execution requires local knowledge and careful due diligence. Along with sharing this data, I've also created the 2026 Melbourne 750K watchlist. Inside, you will find the checklist for buy box, key catalysts and watchouts, 7 suburb scorecards, a shortlist matrix, and an open home checklist. You can access that through the link in the description below. Download my free watchlist below, and if you're ready to take action, book a call. We will map your position, pick the right streets, and build a clear acquisition plan. Also, if you're keen to extend your borrowing power, do not miss out on these 6 hacks. This is the difference between someone getting stuck after 2 properties versus someone who can buy 5+ properties. See you in the next one.